So CERN is shutting down tomorrow, and there's a lot of fear-mongering going on right now, to be honest, okay?
What about this has anything to do with the American people?
We are all tired of being fucked over by a bunch of elderly, corrupt pieces of shit, and we're not gonna fucking take it anymore.
We all remember what happened last time CERN shut down. Hey man, at least Trump's changing Palm Beach International to Donald Trump International, and I have no idea why. Seems like a lot of things we're not asking for happening lately, but we got a banger of a video for you tonight. Make sure you subscribe, lock in. Thank you for joining me, and let's get into it.
Lines are moving fast. Be prepared to see some weird shit. Step back and observe because you're watching a play. Artificial intelligence has been given to us to blur the lines so we don't know what's real and what's fake. If you see a video with a horse with wings and a horn, a unicorn for example, flying through the centre of London, you will automatically say that that's AI. They know the veil is lifting and we're about to be shown some weird shit, and AI is the perfect cover. Naturally, things that are real, we're being conditioned to put it down to AI. Why else would they give AI to us? Now is the time to use discernment when deciphering whether something's real or whether something is fake.
I just gotta say that AI thing, man. In the beginning, I used to think people were so stupid that they couldn't tell the difference between AI and what's real. Dude, today, it's actually, I mean, you could still tell, don't get me wrong, but it's such a blurred line between the real and AI that it's getting dangerous, man. It's only going to get crazier.
You guys know that 1913 was the year we actually lost control of our country, right? Oh, and just for historical context, World War I started in 1914. I mean, look, I'm sure that was a coincidence, but let me just tell you all the things that were created in 1913. First, the Federal Reserve, which is neither federal nor has any reserves. It's basically a private bank that just controls all of our money. Second thing created in 1913 was the IRS. And I'm sure it's just a coincidence that it was created the exact same year that a private bank took over all of our money. Yeah, I'm sure it's a coincidence that that was the year they started taxing you. Like, you work, they print, and then you pay them back with interest.
How does that work? How the fuck does that work? I've wondered that since I was a kid, man, and we just do it. I mean, we just do it. We work, they take money from that. Then we go buy things with the money that was already taxed, and they tax that again. When has it ever made sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. The next thing created was the Rockefeller Foundation. Yeah, and let's be real, that was all about philanthropy. It's not like they took control of medicine, education, science, and basically the health of the world. I mean, let's be real, all they were doing was donating money. Yeah, it's not like they were buying control of everything. Oh, and that worked out so well, right? Because people are healthier and more self-sufficient than ever, right? Oh yeah, also in 1913 was the American Cancer Society. I mean, that sounds like a good thing, right? That can't possibly be bad, except it was completely funded by extremely wealthy people. But even though it was a charity, they never really gave to anyone. No, they just took their money and invested in pharmaceutical drugs. Oh, and chemo. Yeah, instead of taking that money and investing in companies that were trying to find a cure, no, we'll just invest in companies that use chemicals from the military that were later banned.
This is crazy. I had no idea about this. They literally used leftover mustard gas from the war and noticed that it helped in combating cancer cells. So they utilized it to combat cancer. Let's remember, mustard gas is first an initial creation, like the use, what it was going to be used for.
Yeah, that's a good thing to keep fucking putting into people. Then also created in 1913, the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, which sure, yeah, it's about civil rights. Yeah, totally. It's not about censoring people or, silencing critics. And then in 1914, we had World War I, and that became the first war ever that private industry profited from war. The private industry that's owned by the same families that created the Fed, the IRS, the Rockefeller Foundation, the American Cancer Society, the ADL. Again, just a coincidence. Oh, I'd also like to point out that a year prior to 1913, 1912, yeah, that was when the Titanic sank. And it's funny how three of the wealthiest individuals on that ship were the loudest voices opposed to central banking. Oh, and there's also the little tidbit that JP Morgan was supposed to be on that boat, but he canceled at the last second. But yeah, I mean, that's conspiracy. That's tinfoil hat talk. So what's happened since 1913? Well, the dollar has lost 99% of its value. Our debt has just become like a number that we ignore. Middle class getting fucked daily. War is now an industry instead of a conflict. Oh yeah, and your money isn't real anymore. Like, it's just not real. It's not backed by anything. It's just numbers on a paper that private bank prints. So guys, look, if you're worried about America being conquered or, a rebellion or it being taken over, I just want you to recognize that you're more than 100 years too late. That shit already happened in 1913.
So CERN is shutting down tomorrow, and there's a lot of fear mongering going on right now, to be honest, okay?
Now, y'all, we remember what happened last time CERN shut down. It's never uneventful, and we know that. So I really do think humanity is about to get another test, and we're all about to find out whether we're right or wrong about that. But let's keep that in mind. What happened last time CERN shut down.
A lot of talk about timeline shifting and what's about to happen. The last time CERN shut down was 2018 to 2022, and we all know what happened during that time period, right? We don't really talk about it, but we were never really the same. Argue with the wall, that's a fact. If you don't know what CERN is in normie terms, it's basically a big scientific machine where they're smashing particles together trying to recreate the Big Bang. We don't really know what goes on at CERN, but there's a lot of conspiracies about the Mandela effect, shifting timeline, why time is speeding up. We live in a fear-based society, right? And remember my talk about Monsters, Inc., how fear and screams from the little kids powers the Matrix? That's us, all right? They want us living in fear. And whenever I say they, I think you know who I'm talking about. We get put through the ringer on the daily because if you know anything about Project Looking Glass, it's basically a declassified experiment where allegedly they looked into the future and they realized that they lose every time. They realized that light always wins. And I know you guys get mad at me for saying that because I know light does not win on the daily. I understand that. Think about the past couple years. We have shifted our consciousness to such a high frequency that they're scrambling.
I just gotta stop right here to say one thing. He's right. Light does not win on the daily, but light wins in the end. And I've seen some dark shit. Light wins in the end. Just keep that in mind.
They're throwing noodles at the wall and nothing's sticking because we just won't live in fear. We're never gonna just constantly live in a state of fear. This is another argue with the wall. People are waking up, all right? Whether you want to believe it or not, people are seeing through the veil. They are seeing these people for exactly who they are, and it's a clown show at this point, right? They pulled out the final card they have. What is that? The alien card. They want to have everyone living in fear of aliens. That's the point we're at. And if you know anything about aliens, we shouldn't be scared of them, okay? Joy, happiness, and love is the ultimate form of resistance. So what is my advice for CERN shutting down? What is my advice for Mercury going into retrograde? It's to go outside. Mother Nature gives us all the resources we need right here at our fingertips. We don't need them, all right? Talk to the nature. Talk to the trees. Talk to the birds. Who cares if they call you crazy? They can do all the shifting they want. They can flip it, reverse it, turn around, and smack it on the ass. Guess what? They're never gonna win as long as we stay grounded, okay? That's my advice.
If you thought Flock was bad, something even more terrifying is being installed all over America. It's made by a defense contractor called Leonardo, and here's what it does. So the biggest problem with these LPRs, license plate readers like Flock, is that it needs to use a license plate to identify you at least right now, and they can't tell who else is in your car. So what's their genius fucking solution to this? Well, they've made a device that can be installed next to any existing license plate reader, that once it's installed, that next time they pull your license plate, it will pull all the unique Bluetooth identifiers from all the smart devices in your...
Bro, they got people modding the flock cameras now, putting add-ons to track you. They got 5M servers on the flock cameras now.
Your car. And oh yeah, it gets worse. So once they have those devices, they link them to you via your license plate, and now they never need to scan your license plate again, and these can be installed anywhere, and they can see who's traveling with you, and all that fun fucking stuff.
Well,
Just a question too for the people who know about this stuff. Does that not add a backdoor now to those flock cameras by installing that? Just a curiosity of mine.
friends, Israel's security is non-negotiable.
The United States of America stands with the state of Israel because it is in our fundamental national security interest to stand with Israel.
I will always stand up for Israel's right to defend itself.
Whether or not in Israel, the United States of America would have to invent an Israel.
We will never ask Israel to compromise its security. Can't do that.
I believe the bonds between the United States and Israel are unbreakable.
The unbreakable bond.
An unwavering, unshakable,
Unbreakable bond with our cherished ally, Israel.
What is this? You know, every president, it's like they have a an obligation to go to that wall. They have an obligation to praise Israel. We send all of our, and you're seeing these next clips, we send all of our tax dollars, not all of them, but a huge percentage that doesn't go to us, to Israel, for them to have safer roads, for them to have free school, for them to have free health care, something we dream about here. We pay for Israel, and then we're thanking them. Something is going on. And I don't know what it is. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I do or that I know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't. I'm just a 35-year-old dude. But there's something, you know, and I'm smart enough to understand that there is something underlying there, and to deny it is just weird. It's just an odd phenomenon to me ever since I was young. Like, I noticed this since I was about 10 years old, that this is just something that all of our presidents go out of their way to do. It's almost like they're raising allegiance to something that we don't know about. So, I mean, do you agree? Do you not?
Before I bring up the fact that our infrastructure is falling apart and it's Israel's fault, everybody goes, oh, you just would have blamed the Jews. All right, sit down and let me show you how it goes. Everybody knows about the federal funding we give Israel, yeah? And the country, America as a whole, gives federal funding. Every state in this country gives funding to Israel. Almost every city in every state gives funding to Israel. San Marcos, tiny little city in Texas, was going through its budget because they had a bunch of potholes. Because San Marcos went through their budget and said, wait a second, why are we giving $4.4 million to, we're a tiny city, to Israel? We have potholes. People can't even drive. So the city, the residents voted, we don't want to give them any money. Guess what old Governor Wheelchair Abbott said? Came rolling through, said, if you do that, you are not going to get any funding from the state or any of your federal funding. So yes, I am sure that Israel is a vassal state and we are just willingly doing it.
You want to know what it is?
So you see, and that's the other thing I want to make clear too. It's not, you know, Jews. Let's just not, it's them, it's all of that. It's not them, dude. It's just like with every society, there is an underlying culture or an underlying governing body that does cruel and evil things, and they sadly represent a whole of someone else. Like, so what I believe is that there's an entity deeper than just Jewish. They talk about the Mossad, they talk about this stuff. It's something like that, you know. There are crazy things that go on to govern the world. There are crazy things that happen, right? Or are orchestrated to ensure things happen. I think Israel and that underlying entity in Israel, not the Jewish people, but that underlying entity in Israel, has been doing this for years, where they manipulate the chess pieces to ensure certain things happen or don't happen. Now, I, again, can't sit here and say I know everything. I can't sit here and say if they didn't do that, the world would be a worse place or a better place. All I can say is that I notice it. And you can't say you don't notice it too, right? And it's so easy for these people to just assume you're anti-Semitic, you're anti-Semitic, you're anti-Semitic. No. You know, there's a lot of people that don't like Donald Trump, for example, but they love America. They trust the government still, but they don't trust Donald Trump. That's kind of an example. I mean, the best one I could give right
The
now.
Rockefellers, having our public education system.
And you hear that name again, Rockefeller. We've heard it a lot. Look into the Rockefellers, man. We'll do a video on Rockefeller if you want, but I highly suggest everybody research the Rockefellers on their own.
Paid for decades. You know, there's a good reason they don't teach you business in public school. There's a good reason they don't teach you to file your taxes. It's because the Rockefellers just want good little manufacturers. Obedient little employees already subscribe to the idea of a 9-to-5.
We know Pythagorean's theorem, though, but I think 65% of the population can't balance a checkbook.
Raise your hand to go to the bathroom. Please, sir, can I have some more? No! No, you can't have any more! You know what it is? You know what it is? It's the Rothschilds. Once upon a time.
That name, too.
Requesting a Federal Reserve. The richest people in the world said nay. Said, actually. And the Rothschilds responded with, do you guys like cruise ships? It's that through all of the atrocity, through all of the corruption, we're supposed to sit here and act like the world that the system built, the world that the billionaires and the people in power built is made for us, and it's not. And what's more is in the modern day, we're all supposed to just sit here like good little girls and goyams for Big Daddy Netanyahu while he fights a Zionist war on the other side of an ocean on our blood and our flesh, our taxpayer dollar. Why? Because we're all just sacrificial lambs. Rats in a cage. Running around looking for the cheese. Well, you know what? I think it's time we band together and find it.
Now, this is for entertainment purposes only. I need to say that. I don't think anybody should be going and doing some violent act or, going out and doing the same things that they've been doing for years that has not worked. You have to hit them where it hurts, and where it hurts is their pockets. Now, it's very hard to sit here and say, stop being a consumer. Everything we do in life and what our lives are built around is consumerism. I'm using a camera that I bought. I'm using a microphone that I bought. I have this, everything that's in front of me right now, I had to purchase in order to put this message out. It's kind of like a catch-22. But I think if we stop with the stupid shit that we really don't need, such as $10 coffees at Starbucks, or, the prices that they're doing at the grocery store, don't even get me fucking started. And I'll be honest, there was a time when I was younger, I used to be ashamed that my family, my mother, shopped at Aldi's, and everybody else's family went to ShopRite, and they got, I considered, real food, and we ate knockoff food. Brother, today, I prefer Aldi's, but not only is Aldi's just as expensive as everywhere else, they're tending to put the same shit in the stores now. So there's really no alternative to high pricing for anything anymore. When I was in high school, we used to go to Ross to get the same clothes that are in Nike or in the big stores. We would just go to Ross and buy them for cheaper and wear them. Now you go to Ross, they're selling you, and this thing pisses me off, they're selling you clothes that don't make it to the official store because there's minor things wrong with them, right? But they're selling it to you for the same fucking price. So what is the deal there? So you're basically sending us the scrap clothes at a same rate and then selling the normal clothes at the same rate. Ross has no need to be in existence anymore. And that's the same with the grocery stores. I can't explain it. Like how Ross was for clothes and Aldi's was for grocery stores. It was like the cheaper alternative. We don't have any more cheaper alternatives. They are all the same across the board, and most of them are all owned by the same company.
Are all tired of being fucked over by a bunch of elderly, corrupt pieces of shit, and we're not gonna fucking take it anymore. Who gives these motherfuckers the right to control everybody else's life to the point where they fucking can't even barely fucking eat? They're old, they're weak, they've already lived their lives. It's our turn now, and we need to stand the fuck up and say no fucking more. And that needs to be happening in every Western country in the fucking world.
This is crazy. I didn't even know about
Does
this.
anybody know the difference between a cop and an undercover cop?
And I live in Florida.
Yeah, one of them will attempt to fit in order to get the job done. They will pretend, they'll fake it, they'll mislead, all in order to get your trust to accomplish their goal. Less press conferences. More rallies. He's so funny. He's just like us. Drain the swamp. The American people deserve this. The American people deserve that. When you look at stuff like this, I need you to ask yourself, What about this has anything to do with the American people? Now I know what you're going to say. Preemie, Trump isn't the only president to have stuff named after himself. What about George Bush? He got an airport. Yeah, after his presidency. What about Jimmy Carter? He got a whole submarine. Yeah, after his presidency. What about JFK? That man got the JFK Center. You mean the one that Donald Trump renamed the Donald J. Trump and JFK Center? The one that Congress named after JFK after his presidency?
Weird.
You know, because he got his head blown off. You see how this isn't making any sense? You see how it's not adding up? It's not the same? And you're sitting here trying to name one-off situations for every single president you can think of, and I can lose count if I did all of Trump's. Let me show you. Listen to me. They took the JFK Center and renamed it the Donald J. Trump and JFK Center. You got the Donald J. Trump Institute of Peace. Yeah.
The Donald J. Trump Institute of Peace. Didn't he get a Nobel Peace Prize too? I just don't understand how at the same time that you, and I'm not a Trumper or I'm not an anti-Trumper. Again, I'm just a 35-year-old fucking dude. But in the same breath that you're bombing people, whether rightfully or not, you're naming a peace center after yourself and receiving Nobel Peace Prizes. And we all know who created the Nobel Peace Prize. I'll put that here. And what he did. He wasn't a good person at all. He created that to kind of make up for all the bad things he did do. But it's just odd to me. And why does he have to have his fucking name on everything? I don't understand it. I really never understood it.
Battleships. Named after himself, by the way. You got
even in Atlantic City.
Trump RX, you got the Trump gold card, you got the Trump account. He even tried to put his face on a gold $1 coin. He even tried to put his body, that body, on your passport. You got Trump Avenue, you got Trump Boulevard, you got Trump Highway. Listen, I can go on forever, but what I'm asking you is, do you know the difference between a cop and an undercover cop? An undercover cop will attempt to fit in order to get the job done. You fell for it. You fell for the speeches, you fell for the rallies, you fell for every attempt he made to make you feel like he was one of y'all. Yeah, he's so funny. He says everything that we're thinking. He's just like one of us. He's the most normal president we've ever had. He told you it was America first. And then you walked out of your house and you looked at the streets. It's his name. You look at the buildings. It's his name. You're going to look in your pockets at your money. It's going to be his name. And you're going to look at your passport and it's going to be his face in that body. It's starting to look less like America first and more like Trump first. And MAGA, Trump supporters, I hate to break this to you. I think this is the only thing that everybody else understands that you just seem to can't get. So I just want to make it very clear. There's not a billionaire on the face of this planet that has anything in common with you. Remember that. In the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful day. You know I love you and I'll see you tomorrow. But if I don't, stay out of trouble.
Okay, here.
All right, little forewarning on this one. I have never agreed with something Rachel Maddow said in my entire life. My entire life. So for me to have a Rachel Maddow clip is not normal for me, but what she says, can't deny with.
Is what the reflecting pool on the National Mall used to look like before Donald Trump was president. Here is what he has done to it now. A big green algae blob with a rim of some other color around the edge of it where they dumped a bunch of hydrogen peroxide into the pool. It's like the world's grossest counterfeit Rothko painting. Similarly, here's what the White House used to look like before Donald Trump was president. The White House had its grounds and environs. Here's what Trump has done to it. Like goodbye, East Wing. Hello, giant hole in the ground. Hello, giant weird cage fighting contraption. Want another one? Here's another one. This is what...
Brother, it's the movie Idiocracy. It's just missing Terry Crews.
The ellipse off the south lawn of the White House used to look like before Donald Trump was president. And here's what it looks like now. Nice. After Trump threw himself that birthday cage match and destroyed the ellipse. Great. The seat of America's government now looks like a carnival that's been hit by a tornado.
It does.
And then the ruins were used for a BMX race and then a bonfire of tires. All that's left to complete the look is like a big rickety-looking Ferris wheel. Oh, wait, they just installed one of those today. Why does the beleaguered National Mall have a weird Ferris wheel now, you might ask? Well, this was just one of the things shipped in as part of Donald Trump's Great American State Fair, which is due to open up this Thursday. You might remember this was the event that was supposed to feature a number of musical performances from musical acts like Bret Michaels and Milli Vanilli. That was until even those artists realized they would be headlining a Trump event, and so they started dropping out. Imagine being the lip sync guy from Milli Vanilli and thinking your reputation couldn't stand that kind of a hit.
They turned him down. I was laughing at the status of artists that were going to be there, and even they turned him down.
When even the Milli Vanilli lip syncer said he was too embarrassed to be at the Trump event, Trump canceled the whole concert idea and announced that instead he would just hold a Trump rally. So there will be no concert at this event, but don't worry, because according to the event's website, the Great American State Fair will still feature 150 exhibits from, and I quote, all 56 states and territories. That's what they say. Turns out that's not exactly true. Because just like Milli Vanilli, turns out a bunch of states also do not want to be associated with this event, and therefore they will not be participating. MS Now has confirmed that despite the Trump administration saying that all 50 states will be represented, all 50 states will not. We have confirmed that these states, at least, will definitely not be participating in the event. Massachusetts, Oregon, Connecticut, Washington State, and North Carolina. Other outlets have reported that Illinois, Maine, Rhode Island, Pennsylvania, and Vermont will also not be participating, but we haven't confirmed that ourselves. We'll find out soon enough when they fire up the Ferris wheel and things start going on Thursday. Just another Donald Trump project on the National Mall going exactly as planned this week. Nothing to see here.
The Trump administration has released a new report calling for the injection of Christianity and religion in essentially all facets of American life, saying that Americans should remember religion as a, quote, essential support and always remember, quote, the creator who made us and bestows our right. This 224-page report recommended that the Justice Department issue guidance to promote an originalist understanding of how the Constitution sees the relationship between religion and government.
So in layman's terms, basically, there will be no line between church and state. This is basically saying that teachers are going to be starting to teach religion in schools. I'm not sure if it's going to be limited to one religion, which is going to open up a can of worms itself. However, schools are about to change.
Essentially ending any notion of separation of church and state in American society. It calls for faith-based groups to no longer have to comply with civil rights laws, calls for public schools to be allowed to conduct religious displays and only mentions the display of the Ten Commandments. And it called for the end of the Johnson Amendment, which bars nonprofits from making political endorsements and campaigns. This comes ahead of America's 250th anniversary in just 1 week. The administration is actively pushing to inject religion, but specifically Christian values, in all parts of American life, and you need to know about it. So spread the word, follow along for all the news you need to know about.
So do you not think this is going to cause an issue? Like, do you think they already said that they're starting with the Ten Commandments and Christianity? There are going to be battles over which schools support which religion or teach which religion. There are going to be arguments. There are going to be parents coming in irate. I promise this is going to be a result of that. And a huge reason why church and state have always been separated. Now it's going to be, I guess, curriculum to be not forced, but what is it? To learn about religion.
Hey, what's up, America? CEOs of major companies in America are now saying that the average American is running out of money. Wow, gee, no
shit.
Fucking shit, dumb fuck. Yeah, Americans are running out of money. Man, did you figure that out all the way from back 5 years ago? So the CEO of Heinz is now saying that Americans are running out of money due to high cost of food, gasoline, insurance, cars, housing, everything. fucking thing. And the CEOs are now finally saying, maybe we need to bring prices down a little bit. Oh no! But not because the CEOs are generous all of a sudden. No, they're saying that Americans are no longer buying name brand products, or they're simply not buying products at all. And so to save their price gouging companies, they need to bring prices down a little bit. So I'm not sure what pisses me off more, the fact that you were price gouging, knew we were all suffering, but did it anyway, or that the only reason you're bringing prices down is because Americans don't have shit and they're not buying your products, so you're doing it for only selfish reasons. So I'm gonna tell most people here in America, stop buying most name brand products. Make these companies go out of business. Punish them for price gouging. Starbucks CEO says $9 cups of coffee are good because you enjoy the experience. Put Starbucks out of business. Stop buying it. Go get you a $1 cup of coffee at a gas station. Fuck Starbucks. Fast food places jacking up prices. Stop going there. Stop purchasing name brand products. Stop it. They will only start to...
I'll say one thing about the name brand thing too. I have a couple friends that make 10 times better clothes than you'll buy at any outlet or any real clothing store. I see these people on social media that are making their own clothes and designing, and they look way better than these name brand clothes are putting out. And they're reasonable price because we're humans in the same society creating and selling to each other. I definitely believe in that over going to a Nike outlet or something like that. But I mean, here I am wearing a Nike hat, so what am I really saying?
Lower prices again when the dominoes start to fall and they see their empires about to be impacted. Nothing else will make that determination for them. It's the same with new vehicles. They want to charge you subscription services for everything. Stop buying them. Put them out of business. Fuck them. I don't give a shit if Ford goes out of business and is replaced by a Chinese company at this point. You've earned it, mother.
That's what's going to happen too. All these American companies are, you see it with the people going, again, on social media with the phones. People are saying, fuck Apple, and going to buying the nothing phone. That's a Chinese company. They're going to come over here and start taking over because our companies are screwing us.
Motherfucker. Oh, that's not patriotic. And price gouging your entire citizenry into poverty is? Fuck you. Get ratioed, motherfucker. So to CEOs in America, find lower prices or find new jobs. I want to see companies going out of business left and right that were price gouging. I want to see them crumble to the ground and piss on the ashes.
And it's very possible. I mean, collectively, if we were to just stop buying their shit, it would end. But that's another phenomenon that I can't wrap my head around, that it just seems like we're not capable of doing that. I don't know why, because all it takes is us one day not being gluttonous. But it's a sin that I don't think we can get over as a society is gluttony. We want more, we want the best, we want everything. But temporarily not having anything will get us everything we want in the end, I guarantee.
People are realizing they're being propagandized at a level that older people gladly accepted. Older people were okay with being propagandized as long as they got a few things out of it. The young people are getting nothing out of it. Wait, you're lying to us and I can't own a house? I can barely have a job? I have to be forced into the gig economy? I get to deliver burritos? And I have to listen to this bullshit? And I have to pretend that this is all real? And I can't afford frozen yogurt with my girlfriend? And I have to go along with this horse shit? And I have nothing and no money for it? If you're doing something, you want to get something out of it. If you are going to delude yourself and believe the bullshit on the news, you have to get a little bit out of it. We're asking them to believe crazier and crazier things and taking away the little bit that most people have.
And I was saying this earlier, like, we work to live and we can't live, right? So if we're working all these hours all week and we still don't have enough money in the end to survive, it starts to make you think, why not just not work and not have enough money to survive? And then you realize that everything you have has a bill. And you realize that everything you do is taxed. It's not as simple as just, we can't work. We don't have to work. We have to work to survive. It would just be nice if the profiting wasn't so much of the priority, and surviving still was. Like, we went back to working to survive, and the surviving part was involved.
The Supreme Court today issued a ruling that Justice Sotomayor says grants Donald Trump more power than the King of England. This is a case that won't be talked enough about, but it's called Trump versus Slaughter. And the issue is whether or not Trump can fire an FTC commissioner essentially at will. And today, in a 6-3 ruling, the conservatives on the Supreme Court abolished independent agencies, allowing the president to fire those at independent agencies for whatever reason, at whatever time. Justice Sotomayor says that this decision will grant the U.S. president more powers than a king, whom Parliament could constrain from removing high-level royal officers.
I mean, I do not think Donald Trump is going to leave when his term is up. Mark my words, I do not think Donald Trump is going to leave when his term is up. Everything he's doing is putting it in place for him to have an empire. Again, I'm not an anti-Trump person. I don't even want to talk about who I voted for, but I fell for this shit. And I can clearly see that he's building an empire. He's building a foundation that he has the laws and rules in place. He's not going to have to leave. And if he does, he's still going to have a huge say in what goes on in our government.
The FTC is an independent agency, or at least it used to be. The president needed cause before to fire individuals on the FTC. Not anymore. The Supreme Court overturned 90 years of precedent, overturning a Humphreys executor decision that has stood for a long time. This decision won't be talked about a lot today, but it's one that'll impact generations to come. Follow for more.
Shut up, bitch. After like the 400th Truth Social, Ron reached the same conclusion that everyone on the globe reached, which is this guy's not strong, he's weak. Strong people don't brag about how strong they are, they just punch you in the face and end the conversation. My father would always say there are two types of guys, and you gotta be careful of the second. The first were like, what'd you say? Say it again! Push you in the chest. You don't have to worry about those guys. And then the other guys don't say anything, just knock you cold, hit you in the face with a beer bottle and keep hitting you. And Trump is very much, what'd you say? Shut up, bitch. I don't take you seriously. No, I'm not being mean, but like, come on.
Let's be real. Tucker Carlson was on Trump's ball sack the entire time he was running, both the first time and the second time, and now he wants to switch his lane again. I agree with what he's saying here now, but let's not forget Tucker Carlson just fits in. He will mold himself to be an approved voice. So take everything he says with a grain of salt for sure. Hey, but that's the video, guys. I appreciate y'all joining me on this journey. As you can tell from episode 1, we got a little better in episode 2, a little bit better in episode 3. Hoping there's a little bit of an improvement here in episode 4. But I really do appreciate you guys sticking with me and joining. I know we're just at 5 subscribers now, so it would really help me if you subscribe. I'm really trying to grow this channel into a family, man. And shouts out to Segovia Reacts and Mod Tricka and all those guys, man. They really influenced me to just do this. Whether it turns into something or not, I just want to do this for fun. And people who think like me, and we can kind of just get together and vibe, you know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you guys. Hope you have a good rest of your night, and we'll see you next time.